All right, welcome everyone to the Eve Growing System. This is going to be a follow-up video. This is kind of something I've been working on. I've posted in our composting collaboration group. Great group. I'll put a link below. This is where we're talking a little bit about what I'm working on as far as composting goes. These heats, I never thought that I could get such high heats in such a small pile. I thought you had to have a lot more girth. I thought you had something had to be like 4x4. 4 feet high type thing. This I thought was 3 feet high, but it's about 4 feet high, but it is 2 feet across. So we got my first bin done on the thought is 3 feet high, 2 feet wide. I did get up close to 140. I never made it close to 160, but this has been very long lasting heat in this small pile. 4 feet high, 2 feet in thickness, right? And the interesting thing here that I'm finding fascinating, the very middle here, I've got this big hole here, right? That big hole. But so I'm just finding it fascinating with this. And the perfect thing about these bins being this size, for me anyway, is when you grow vertically, I find that this is even a great size to work with when you're growing vertically using soil. I've had some bigger ones, and I do like the square as well, more so than the cylinder. So I started with this pile here. This pile is still at 140. This is still at 140. This one went down a little bit since I posted it last to about 155, I think. It was resting at 150. It was resting at like just under 160. This pile is the one I'm working on now. A lot of sawdust in here is what I'm using for, and a lot of liquid slurry and a lot of minced house compost. And I'm building it up like here, like right here. I probably got 2 more composts that I'm going to mince compost on here, sawdust. Then one more layer and I'll top it off with the duff so there's nothing, no outside vermin can recognize it's even here. As you can see, it's kind of warm out right now. Flies would be around if they could smell it, but they don't, because you got to cover. You always got to cover. That's important. This pile here is the one I'm still working on. I've added liquid slurry on here, and it's already up in high heat. So I'm getting this thermophilic action going very easily. And I haven't experimented. Right now I'm just experimenting with sawdust as my carbon. But this spring, this fall, when I start to do leaves and mince them up, I'm going to see if I can get the same heat doing the same method with minced leaves. I've proven that many times, for many years with my piles that have more girth. But the beauty about this is when you add in the slurry, it goes right down, right in here, where a big pile you have to spread it all around. This one here, the liquid slurry goes right down. I don't know if you could see that heat just coming up, but I tell you what, you stick your hand in there, it is hot. So this is what I'm working on. When this one's done heating up, when the thermophilic stage is done, I'm going to add some red wigglers right down, make some holes and add some red wigglers. Now, a couple questions in our Facebook group, again, the composting worm collaboration group, link below, is how do you fluff it up, Mark? How do you get it fluffed up? And the truth of it is, I've got a couple iron rods here. Let's use this one as an example. And let's take a look at this hole before I mess it up, because I'm finding this fascinating. It's got that white mycelium type stuff all around it, right? And I don't know if you could see the steam in there, but, and the heat here, the heat here is still nice. The thermophilic stage is going nice and strong. So a lot of this stuff in this pile is heating up. So I think it's kind of exciting for me, because it's a lot easier to work with piles like this when they're this small. So much easier to work with. And I'll still have a big pile for my massive amounts of leaves, and probably let just the rain as my nitrogen. Put it on there and I'll leave the top open and hopefully let it rest. It won't be as fast, but I'll still get my duff from it. So basically, when it comes time for me to fluff it up or whatever, I just get this iron rod in here like this. Move it all around. So that's basically how I move this stuff around like this. And of course, when you make a hole, you can, that hole, it's so moist down there, it'll remain. So that's how the aeration. So the aeration is coming from the top all the way to the bottom. Now, I'm keeping my eye open for one of those compost auger type things where I can screw it down and lift it up like that. I think that'd be perfect for this pile. So that's exciting. Summer's going good. Last week, my little Jenny moved on, our little Jenny. So you won't be seeing her in the background anymore on her. She was a great dog. I got her over here. We'll do a video on that maybe, if people can stand it, of how I'm handling that soul and trying to keep her memory alive while making sure her remains are more of a positive than just buried in the ground, and that's the end of it. We'll talk more about that. We were bummed. Last week was a tough week for us all. She died in my arms, which I was grateful for. That's the second dog that's done that. It's very hard and difficult to do. She had kidney failure and Lyme disease, and who knows? That going to the vet for me is like going to the to a mechanic that you can't necessarily trust. I got to break you, for crying out loud. And a death here was interesting. The vet that I went to, maybe you guys can have a comment on that. When it came time to put her down, you know, there was two prices they had. One, if you wanted to be there, it was over $300, and if you didn't want to be there, it was like $160, which was insane to me. It's more if you want to be by your pet's side than if you just want to let it done, and then they bring you the dog once it's done. So many states don't even allow you to have the dog after the fact, but luckily our vet, we're not allowed to, but I think the vet was going to allow me to do that. So that's it. What else did I want to say about this? So again, these break down. So once this one's done, these can be grow towers at the same time. Your compost bin can be your grow tower, and they've been, this particular size has been working well. So I'm kind of excited that these are getting the thermophilic action that I get out of a huge pile that's a little harder to work with. So I think this is a little simpler. As you can see, this one that I'm working on right now is over 130, just about 140. And again, that's all our house compost. And the liquid slurry. As I've said many times, the liquid slurry that I get from the pasta water, urine, coffee water, stuff that I'm cleaning out a jar, a jelly jar or a peanut butter jar, that liquid has the biodiversity in it that helps, I think, helps stimulate this carbon, this sawdust right here that I get on Facebook in this nice bag. The guy gets rid of it. This is the kind of stuff I'm using. This looks more like pine, but I got some that have just, that look like oak in there, harder wood. So that's basically it. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 potentially that can be with this family, 2 houses that'll be working with this compost. And I think there's great promise with this. Especially, it doesn't look too clean right now, but you know, dog cages all day long. I picked these up for like $5, that one. This one I think I got for, I forget how much, but, and this stuff I got free on Facebook, these metals. So keep your eye open for metal stuff like that. They make a great composting bin, all right? So that's all I have to say for now. I hope everybody's doing well in these seemingly trying times that hopefully will get better, but if they don't, we have to learn to take care of ourselves, and we have to learn how some of the biggest things that are very difficult is dealing with our organic waste. If there's no trucks coming to pick up our waste, what are you going to do about it? All right, don't panic. Mother Nature has us covered 100%. I haven't been shooting many videos this summer, but I hope to show you my aquaponics setup that I have, which is my old swimming pool you sometimes see in the background. My towers are doing somewhat well. My mobile gardens are doing fair. Again, the experiment for me is not using any fertilizers, just what's available. I don't put any Miracle Grow, and that's not saying we can't. One day maybe I will start getting into adding some separate nutrients rather than depending on the soil that might not have as many nutrients as we'd like. Tomatoes are doing good. My Dutch bucket systems are doing fair, could be better. And it's just been a good all-around summer. That's all I have to say for now. God bless, over and out.